A very good evening to all of you students. Let us start today's session from page number 15. We're going to start with the last paragraph, which is world time. The sun does not rise at all places or at all the time. We have learned that Earth rotates from west to east. It takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. Now 24 hours make 24 into 60 is equal to 1440 minutes. This time is taken by the Earth to rotate through 360 degrees. 1440 minutes for 360 degree corresponds to 4 minutes for each degree of longitude. World time is regulated from Greenwich. Going eastwards, we gain 4 minutes for every degree of longitudes. If a place is situated 82 degree 30 minutes east, the time gain would be 5 hours and 30 minutes. How? In a big country like ours, towns situated at extreme east and west may have different longitudes. They will have their own time differences with reference to Greenwich. That would make running of trains between them very confusing. So each place in India follows Indian Standard Time, which is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. The standard meridian is east 82 degree 30 minutes. 0 degree meridian is an imaginary line, but if you go to Greenwich Observatory, there is a real line drawn on the wall signifying 0 degree meridian. People who go there stand with the line passing through the center of their back. At that time, half of their body is in the eastern hemisphere and the other half is in the western hemisphere. The longitude 180 degree east or west is the international deadline. When ships or planes cross this line, 1 day is added if one is traveling from east to west. If the crossing is west to east, 1 day is subtracted. This leads to amusing situations in international travel. You leave New Delhi for London at 11:30 p.m. After traveling for 14 hours, when you reach London, it is just 8 a.m. there. Similarly, if you get a telephone call from someone in Hawaii at 10 a.m. on 15th of July, his watch would be showing only 11 p.m. and his calendar would be showing the date as 14th of July. So students, the last paragraph from your textbook, which is the world time, is a very interesting and important topic. But moving further on the topic, you should be clear on the topic that we have already discussed in the previous sessions. Because until and unless you have understood the previous learned topics, you will be facing problem in understanding about the world time. You will also need to understand and know what is latitude, longitude, parallel of latitudes and meridian of longitudes. And most important part in order to understand the world time is about the equator, prime meridian and Greenwich Mean Time. We all know that due to the rotation of the earth, day and night are caused. But the occurrence of day and night in all the parts of the earth are not same. The part in which the sun rays falls is the part which receives day, but the part which does not receive the sun ray is night. We all know that the earth rotates from the west direction to the east direction, and it takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. 24 hours, which means one day. If it is say 3 p.m. in India, in some other parts of the world it might be night. So we follow time according to the movement of the earth. Sunrise, sunset and noon differs in all the parts of the world because of the rotation of the earth, and because of this rotation different time zones are being formed. Like I said that the earth takes 24 hours or one day to complete one rotation. So in 1 hour, how many minutes will be there for the earth to complete one rotation? The time taken by the earth to rotate through 360 degree will be 1440 minutes. And the time taken to rotate each degree of longitude is 1440 minutes, and if we divide it by 360 degree it will be 4 minutes. So the time taken to rotate 15 degree latitude is 1 hour, and the time taken to rotate each degree of longitude is 4 minutes. In order to understand in a better way, let us take an example like the longitudinal extent of India in the world map is approximately 30 degree longitude. Now, if the northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh see the sunrise say at around 6 p.m. in the morning, the westernmost part of India will receive or see sunlight only after a gap of 2 hours because of the longitudinal extent of India, which is 30 degree. As we know that Earth travels 15 degree in 1 hour, so if the longitudinal extent of India is 30 degree, then it will be 2 hours. If it is more than 30 degree, then there will be an addition of 1 hour for every 15 degree. So we can say in terms of local time difference from the northeast part to the west part, it is 2 hours. World time is regulated from Greenwich, which is a place in Britain, that is in London, and the Greenwich time is also called as the prime meridian. 0 degree meridian is an imaginary line, and if you happen to go to the Greenwich Observatory, there is a real line being drawn on the wall which shows 0 degree meridian, and people, if they go and stand with the line passing through the center of their back, we can see that half of their body is in the eastern hemisphere and the other rest or the other part of the half part of the body is in the western hemisphere. Now the question arises as to how do we know which country follows different time zone, and we can understand this or that can be done due to the imaginary line that is seen or found on the globes. Those are longitudes. Longitudes helps or decides the countries in following different time zones. Out of all the longitudes, 24 lines have been marked as standard meridian. And in order to understand it, we need to take the prime meridian as 0 degree, then the longitude at 15 degree intervals are called standard meridians. and the difference in between two meridian is always 15 degree. So in east as well as in west of the prime meridian, we have meridians at 15 degree intervals, which are called the standard meridians. And if we calculate it, there are a total of 24 standard meridians on the globe of the earth. You can also refer to the figures that has been given in your textbook, which will make it more easier for you if you go through the figures that has been given in the textbook to understand the lesson. Now we need to understand how this standard meridian helps in understanding the time zone. So as we move from the prime meridian to the eastern side of the earth, every standard meridian will have an addition of 1 hour in their time. Like example, if it is 12 noon at the prime meridian, the starting point, okay, I'm just setting an example. If it is 12 noon at the prime meridian, then when you move towards the first prime meridian, move from the first meridian to the east side, the time will be 12 plus, you have to add 1 hour to it, and so on. So if it is if you move to from prime meridian to the first 15 degree, then it will be 1 hour, and for the next one, if you move from 0 degree to 30, it will be 2 hours. For each prime meridian, as we move ahead, there will be 1 hour addition. You will have to add 1 hour to the time, okay? Similarly, for the west part, one has to decrease 12 p.m. 1 hour has to be decreased from 12 p.m. In the east side, you have to add 1 hour, but if you calculate for the western side, you will have to decrease or subtract 1 hour from that. When we see on a flat world map of the earth, the eastmost point on the right hand side and the westernmost point will have completely opposite timing. So the eastern part and the western part of the earth has different timings. The east point is 12 hours ahead of the prime meridian, and the western point is behind by 12 hours from the prime meridian, because when we move to the east side, we add 1 hour, but if we move to the western side, we deduct or minus 1 hour. All this is because of the fact that our earth rotates in anti-clock direction, that is from the western part to the eastern part. So the eastern part of the earth faces or receives sunlight and will have morning first, and the earth moves ahead to the west, they will have daytime later than the eastern part. As the earth rotates, different places will have different timing for day as well as night due to the sun position, and so their clock's position also changes accordingly. And this is the main reason why we have so many time zones, and these time zones are decided by the prime meridian. Like I said, if we move east or west for every standard meridian, if we move towards the east side, we add 1 hour, but if we move towards the western side, we subtract or minus 1 hour from the standard meridian. So we can travel to a different time zone. So when we travel to a different time zone, we can either lose 1 hour or gain 1 hour accordingly. So according to the time zone, if we travel to a different place, say if you are traveling from New Delhi, India to London at 11:30 p.m. and you are traveling. After traveling for 14 hours, you reach London, it will be just 8 a.m. Similarly, if you receive or if you get a phone call from your friend or someone who is staying in Hawaii at around 10 a.m. on 15th of July, his watch will be showing only 11 p.m. and his calendar will also be showing the date of as 14th July. So all this situation of the time zone leads to amusing situations in international travel. So that is all in this lesson, and the main points that you need to remember for this lesson is that equator is the imaginary line on the globe that divides Earth into northern and southern hemisphere. Latitudes measures angular distance from equator north or south. Longitude joins the north and the south pole. The 0-degree meridian passing through Greenwich is a reference longitude for international time. And lastly, equator is an imaginary line on the globe that divides Earth into northern and southern hemisphere.